The hum is all we've ever known, a constant, loathsome from the electric fence that pens us in. They call it the Aegis, our shield against the encroaching nothingness outside. Every year, the elders solemnly announce the contraction. The world is shrinking, they say, and we must pull the Aegis inward to survive. My name is Cade, and I've always questioned that story. From my perch on the tallest calm's tower, I watch the boundary, a shimmering, lethal wall of energy. It feels less like a shield and more like a cage. The official records, the chronicles of contraction date back generations. Each entry details another retreat, another loss of precious land. Farms, homes, entire districts, swallowed by the relentless advance of the fence. Our world gets smaller, tighter. Our lives, more constrained. The elders preach discipline and sacrifice. They say the contraction is a test of our resilience. But I see the fear in their eyes. The same fear that grips everyone as they stare at the flickering barrier. They talk of a forgotten age, a great expanse, but dismiss it as myth, a cautionary tale against ambition. I spend my nights poring over salvaged schematics, scraps of pre-contraction tech. I'm a scavenger, a tinker. I fix what's broken, and I can't shake the feeling that our whole world is built on a broken premise. One evening, a flicker, a section of the Aegis, no larger than my hand, wavered. Not the usual crackle, but a distortion like heat rising from asphalt. And in that distortion, I saw it, a star, a single, perfect point of light in a place where there should have been only the glow of the fence. It was impossible. The sky was supposed to be a uniform, oppressive gray. The sight ignited something in me, a desperate, burning curiosity. I had to know more. I began to modify a drone, reinforcing it with scavenged plating, boosting its signal range. My friend Alara thought I was crazy. She works in the archives, a keeper of the official story. The world is shrinking, Cade. That's all there is, she'd say, her voice tinged with the familiar resignation. But she helped me anyway, sneaking me power cells and rare components. Finally, the drone was ready. I named it Icarus, a private joke. Under the cover of a fierce dust storm, I sent it toward the anomaly I'd seen. The drone's camera feed was my only window to the truth. It sped toward the shimmering wall, the hum on the audio feed growing into a roar. I held my breath. Instead of being vaporized, the drone passed through the distortion. The screen went wild with static, then cleared, and I saw it. The world wasn't ending. It was growing. Beyond the fence was not a void, but land, rolling hills, strange, luminous flora, and a sky filled not with one star, but with billions. The Aegis wasn't keeping a void out. It was keeping us in. My heart hammered against my ribs. It wasn't the world that was shrinking. It was us. The fence wasn't moving inward. It was a fixed point. Our world, the very ground beneath our feet, was expanding away from it on all sides. The contraction was a lie, a misunderstanding on a colossal scale. We weren't retreating. We were being left behind. I showed the footage to Alara. She stared, speechless, as the drone soared over landscapes we'd only dreamed of. The colors were more vivid. The air, even through the drone's microphone, seemed to sing with life. The truth hit her, hard. All this time, she whispered, we've been afraid of the wrong thing. Together, we delved deeper into the archives, but this time we weren't looking for confirmation of the old story. We were looking for its origin. Tucked away in a forgotten sub-basement, we found a sealed container, a time capsule from before the first contraction. Inside was a data slate. Its battery was dead, but I managed to coax it back to life. The slate contained a single, uncorrupted file, a video log from a woman named Dr. Reese Thorne. Her face was weary, but filled with a manic excitement. She stood before a massive console, the Aegis generator humming in the background. She called it Project Horizon. It was never meant to be a prison. It was an experiment, a terraforming engine designed to make a barren world habitable. The expansion, she explained, was the desired effect. The project was designed to create a new world, a new beginning. But something went wrong. Her final log was frantic. The expansion is exponential. We can't control it. The fail-safes are, we have to shut it down. The video cut out. That was it. Project Horizon had run away. The first generation, terrified of the uncontrolled growth, didn't understand. They saw the ground pulling away from their newly built anchor, the Aegis generator, and assumed the world was shrinking towards it. They mistook a miracle for a cataclysm. And for centuries, we had lived that lie. Armed with the truth, we faced the Council of Elders. I played Dr. Thorne's log on the main plaza screen for all to see. I showed them my drone footage of the world beyond our cage. There was shock, disbelief, then anger. Anger at the generations of wasted fear, of lives lived in a shrinking box. Elder Maev, the council leader, was the first to speak. Her voice, usually so firm with authority, trembled. "We have been guarding a memory," she said, while the future waited just outside. A new purpose electrified our community. The debate wasn't about whether to act, but how. The generators powering the Aegis were immense, deep beneath the central tower. They were the heart of our settlement, the source of all our power. Shutting them down meant abandoning everything we knew. It was a terrifying prospect, but the alternative to remain in our gilded cage while the universe expanded without us was unthinkable. We formed teams, engineers, archivists, scavengers, everyone had a role. Alara organized the evacuation, planning our first steps into the new world. I led the team to the generator core. The journey down was a descent through our own history. Each level was older, a relic of a past built on a false premise. Finally, we reached the core, a vast, cavernous space dominated by 3 colossal generators, thrumming with the same energy that had defined our lives. They pulsed with a blue light, the heartbeat of our prison. Shutting them down was a complex sequence. One mistake could cause a catastrophic overload. We worked for hours, sweat beading on our foreheads, the hum of the machine a deafening roar. We followed Dr. Thorne's schematics, reversing the process, calming the beast. One by one, the generators spun down. The roar softened to a hum, then a whisper, then silence. For the first time in centuries, our world was quiet. The silence was heavier, more profound than any sound. On the surface, the shimmering Aegis flickered, wavered, and died. A collective gasp rose from the crowd gathered in the plaza as the barrier simply vanished. In its place was the horizon, a true horizon, vast and limitless, painted in the colors of a sunrise we had never been allowed to see. The air was different. It smelled of damp earth, of alien pollen, of freedom. We walked out, not as frightened refugees, but as explorers. Children touched the strange, glowing moss for the first time. Elders wept as they looked up at a sky full of alien constellations. We hadn't shut down our world. We had turned it on. The ground beneath our feet was no longer a shrinking island. It was the shore of a new continent, and we were its first inhabitants. Our story was no longer about contraction. It was about expansion. It was the story of Project Horizon, finally fulfilled. We were home.